the barrel pressed against Cassian's spine. Cold metal, wrong angle, amateur. His elbow drove backward, crunch of cartilage. He spun, ripped the gun away, put 2 rounds through the ceiling before anyone could move. Next person who reaches dies. Cassian's voice cut through the warehouse dark. We clear? 3 men froze around a card table. Mikel Torres gripped his shattered nose, blood streaming. His lieutenant's hand hovered near his jacket. Dutch Calloway raised both palms. Smart man. Cassian laid the gun on the table, pushed it toward Torres. You get 1 free mistake. That was yours. Torres didn't reach for it. Cassian straightened his jacket. 30% of waterfront traffic, non-negotiable. Contracts Friday. That's half our territory. Torres choked. Was your territory. Now it's mine. Cassian leaned forward. Take the deal and keep breathing. Fight it and fertilize the harbor, which sounds better. Torres's jaw worked. His lieutenant dropped his hand. Dutch nodded. Good. Cassian stood. 2 men materialized from shadows, Mark and Jonesy. Walk away clean, gentlemen. He left without looking back. Rain hammered Port Harrington. The black sedan cut through flooded streets. Cassian watched his city blur past. Boarded windows, rusted cranes, pawn shops with prison-thick bars. This place raised him, taught him, nearly killed him. He was 9 when men kicked in his door. 15 when his mother stopped recognizing mirrors. 17 when he learned the only law, hesitate and die. Maybe some of you grew up in cities like this. If you're watching from somewhere that feels too much like Port Harrington, drop your city in the comments. Halcyon Dockyard. Lofts rose from the waterfront. Glass and steel where rust used to reign. Cassian owned the top 3 floors. Lived alone on the highest. His penthouse looked like a magazine spread. Sharp furniture, polished concrete, abstract art. Beautiful, cold, empty. He dropped his keys. Shrugged out of his blood-spattered jacket. Poured whiskey he wouldn't drink. Floor to ceiling windows framed the city. Rain-streaked glass. Lights bled into darkness. He turned toward his office. Mahogany desk. Filing cabinets holding an Empire's skeleton keys, and 1 locked drawer he never opened. Inside was a phone. Not his main line. Something older. A relic from a version of himself he'd executed to survive. A number he gave to exactly 1 person. A line he swore he'd answer if the world ended. He should have thrown it away years ago. But some part of him, the part that remembered wanting something more than power, kept the account alive. Just in case. Cassian's fingers touched the cold handle. Here's the thing about closed doors. You never know if you're keeping danger out or locking yourself in. If you're the kind who needs to know what happens when ghosts start calling, stay close. You won't want to miss when this drawer opens and everything buried comes screaming back. He released the handle. Stepped. Back. Walked away. Outside, rain hammered Port Harrington, washing nothing clean. And across the city, a little girl with dark hair and sharp eyes was reaching for a phone in her mother's kitchen drawer. The same number Cassian had just walked away from. In 17 minutes it would start ringing. And Cassian Vale was about to discover some things refused to stay dead. The knife slipped. Corinne Alder caught it before it hit the board, but her hand was bleeding. 3 drops hit the carrots. She grabbed a towel, wrapped tight. The bleeding stopped, but the shaking didn't. It had been shaking for 6 months. Ever since Tate Hollinger stopped pretending to be the man who fixed porch steps. The clock read 4:47 p.m. Tate's shift ended at 5. 23 minutes to finish dinner, clean evidence, make Juniper presentable. 23 minutes to become invisible. If you've ever stayed somewhere you knew you shouldn't, Because leaving felt more dangerous, drop a fire emoji below. The front door opened. Small feet. Juniper. Mama? Careful voice. Kids learn to read danger in air. Kitchen, baby. Juniper appeared. 8 years old, dark hair tangled, sharp eyes missing nothing. She wore Cassian's expressions without knowing it. Corinne's heart cracked every time she saw it. Homework? Finished at aftercare. Juniper's gaze landed on the bandaged hand. You're bleeding. Just clumsy. Juniper didn't look convinced. Too smart, too observant. She'd started carrying a notebook everywhere, sketching escape routes. Set the table? Is he coming home? She never said Tate's name, just he or him. He lives here, Junie. That's not what I asked. Yes, he's coming home. Juniper's jaw tightened. Then I'm eating in my room. Junie, please, Mama. Corinne was too tired to fight. Okay, but if you hear anything, stay in my room, door locked, I know. Rules had become second nature. Sad how fast children adapted to war zones. 5:17 p.m. Tate was late. Late meant drinking. Drinking meant mood. Heavy boots on the porch. Uneven gait, keys scraping. Tate walked in trailing rain and whiskey fumes. His eyes landed on her with calculating focus. Dinner ready? Almost. 5 minutes. I said 5 o'clock. Your shift ends at 5. You thought wrong. He let his jacket hit the floor. Waited for her to pick it up. She did, hating herself. Subscribe now if you want to see if she finally fights back. Some stories you can't walk away from halfway. Tate grabbed a beer, drained half. Where's the kid? Homework. She hiding from me? She has a book report. He laughed, low, ugly. Everyone acts like I'm the problem. I work, I pay bills, but I'm the problem. Corinne plated food, stepped back. Tate stared at it. This is it? There's more if... Forget it. He shoved the plate away. I'm going out. He walked to the hallway, stopped outside Juniper's door. Corinne's heart stopped with him. Tate, leave her alone. He didn't knock. Just stood there, breathing on the other side, letting Juniper know he could reach her any time. 30 seconds. A full minute of psychological warfare against an 8-year-old. Then he left. The door slammed. In her room, Juniper sat with both phones, her cheap smartphone and the ancient prepaid she'd found in the kitchen drawer. The old phone fascinated her. Password protected, but she'd guessed it. Her mother's birthday. Inside was one contact. Do not. Below it, a conversation from 8 years ago. Mama. This is the line I use if the world is ending, right? Do not. If you ever send a message here, I come. No questions. Juniper had memorized both messages. She pulled out her notebook. Added today's observations. Tate came home angry. 5:34 p.m. Mama flinched 3 times. He stood outside my door for 1 min 4 sec. Threat level. Escalating. 8 years old, documenting abuse like a war correspondent. She stared at the old phone. At the contact labeled Do Not. At the message promising someone would come. She typed but didn't send. He's hurting my mama. Can you help? Her thumb hovered over send. Not yet. Mama said only if the world was ending. The world wasn't ending. Not yet. Juniper deleted the message, hid both phones, turned off the light. Outside, rain hammered the bungalow. Tate's truck peeled out. And in the kitchen, Corinne sat alone wondering how many more nights she could survive before survival stopped being enough. The answer was closer than she thought. 2 days. The crash woke Juniper at 2:17 a.m. Glass. Something heavy. A slurred voice cutting through dark. She was already dressed under covers, old habit. Backpack within reach. Both phones clutched in hands. Another crash. The kitchen. You think I don't see it? Tate's voice, thick with whiskey. "The way you look at me?" Her mother's response was too quiet. That was worse. "I work my ass off, and you look at me like trash." The slap echoed like a gunshot. Juniper's body went rigid. She'd heard crashes before. Never that sound, never skin on skin. "Don't you ever tell me what to do." Something shattered. Her mother cried out. Juniper's hand shook violently, but Tate bragged about cops who'd believe him. And Mama was terrified of CPS, the shelter. But that required getting past Tate. Another crash. Her mother's voice, "Stop, please, you're hurting." Juniper yanked open her closet, crawled inside, pulled the door almost shut. Her thumb found the power button on the old phone. Screen lit her face ghostly blue. The contact "Do Not" stared back. "If you ever send a message here, I come. No questions." She didn't know who it was, didn't know if they'd answer, didn't know if this counted as the world ending. But her mother was screaming, and Juniper was 8 with 0 options. She typed with numb fingers, "He's beating my mama. Please help." Her thumb hovered. What if this was wrong? What if... Her mother sobbed. She hit send, delivered, no response. Footsteps in the hallway, heavy, coming toward her. Room. She killed the screen, pressed into the closet corner. Her doorknob rattled. "I know you're awake. You gonna defend Mommy?" Silence. Coward, just like her. His fist hit the door, once, twice. Wood shuddered. Then his footsteps retreated. Juniper checked the phone. Nothing. She texted into darkness, and darkness swallowed it whole. She started typing another message when she heard it. Her mother. Screaming, not words, pure terror. Juniper bolted from the closet, grabbed her backpack. Made a decision. She couldn't save her mother, but she could get help. She unlocked her window. Practice paid off. Screen popped out. Rain hit her face. Behind her, furniture crashed. Glass exploded. She climbed through, dropped into mud, ran. Mrs. Chen's house was 3 doors down. Juniper hammered on the door. "Please, my mama." The porch light clicked. Mrs. Chen appeared, elderly and confused. "Call 911. He's killing her." Mrs. Chen's face went pale. She disappeared. Juniper turned back. Tate stood in the doorway, silhouetted by kitchen light. He saw her, smiled, raised his hand in a slow, mocking wave, then slammed the door. Juniper collapsed. Both phones clutched to her chest, rain soaking through. The old phone buzzed. She nearly dropped it. One new message from "Do Not." "Do Not, who is this?" Someone was there. Someone answered. She typed back, "Juniper." Mama said, "Never use this. I'm scared. He'll kill her." "Do Not, where are you?" "Outside, neighbor's house." I ran. He's still inside with her. 3 dots, typing, "Do Not, address, now." Juniper typed her address. "Do not lock the doors. Stay with your neighbor. I'm coming. Who are you?" No response. Mrs. Chen opened her door. "Come inside, sweetie. Police are coming." "No." Juniper stood, turned toward her house. "I have to make sure she's okay." "You can't. That man is dangerous. He's hurting my mama." Juniper walked back into rain, back toward the bungalow. The old phone buzzed. "Do not. Stay back. Do not go inside. I'm 8 minutes out. 8 minutes. Forever. Too late." The sound of a car engine. Tires on wet pavement. Coming too fast. Juniper looked up. Headlights cut through rain. A black sedan fishtailed around the corner and screeched to a halt. The driver's door flew open. A man stepped out. Tall, dark coat, moving like violence personified. He saw Juniper. Their eyes met. His were the same color as hers. "Get behind the car," he said, voice like gravel and fury. "Now." Juniper obeyed. The man walked to her door. Didn't knock. Just kicked it clean off its hinges. The door exploded inward. and Cassian Vale stepped into a house he'd never been to save a woman he'd abandoned, because a little girl with his eyes had done the one thing he'd sworn he'd answer. She'd asked for help. This is the moment everything changes. Hit subscribe, because what walks through it next rewrites 3 lives forever. The door hit the floor before Tate could process. Cassian Vale stepped over the threshold like death, in a tailored coat, rain streaming off his shoulders, eyes scanning with predatory precision. Kitchen, chaos, overturned chairs, blood on linoleum, and Corinne. Tate had her by the hair, one hand twisted in those dark strands, the other raised for another blow. Her lip was split. Blood trickled from her nose. Time fractured. Tate's head turned. Who the hell? Cassian moved. 3 strides. His hand locked around Tate's wrist mid-swing, bones grinding beneath pressure. Let her go. The words came out quiet. Lethal. Tate tried to yank free. Couldn't. He fumbled for the counter, fingers closing around a knife. He swung, wild. Bad choice. Cassian caught his wrist, twisted, and the knife clattered away. Then he drove his knee into Tate's solar plexus. All air exploded from his lungs. Corinne scrambled backward, eyes wide, not believing. Tate doubled over. Cassian grabbed him by the throat and slammed him against the refrigerator hard enough to dent metal. This is what happens when you put your hands on someone who can't fight back. You meet someone who can. Tate clawed at Cassian's wrist. Useless. Please, I don't. Who are you? Cassian leaned close, voice dropping to a whisper only Tate could hear. I'm the man who owns this city, and you just became a problem that needs solving. Tate's face turned purple. His legs kicked weakly. Cassian held him there, 1 second, 2, 3, letting him feel suffocation, feel helplessness, feel what Corinne had been living with. Then he released. Tate collapsed, gasping, alive but broken. Cassian turned to Corinne. 8 years dissolved. She was older, exhaustion carved into her features, blood on her face that made his hands ball into fists. Corinne, her name came out cracked. Cass, are you hurt? How did you, you, hurt? She touched her lip, looked at blood on her fingers. I've had worse. That answer made something dark coil tighter in his chest. Behind them, Tate groaned. Cassian's boot came down on his hand. Not hard enough to break, just hard enough to keep him down. Stay! Sirens wailed distant. Corinne's eyes widened. The police, Uni called them. Where is she? Outside, with the neighbor, she ran. Corinne's voice broke. She was so scared, and I couldn't protect her. You did protect her. She got out. Cassian pulled out his phone, sent a text. Clean this. Make it quiet. 5 minutes. Response. En route. 2 of Cassian's men arrived. Mark and Jonesy surveyed the wreckage, locked on Tate. Get him out of here, Cassian said. Make sure he understands what happens if he comes back. Permanent or temporary? Cassian looked at Tate. Temporary, but painful. They hauled Tate up. He tried to resist. Mark hit him once and all weight drained out. Wait. Tate looked at Corinne. Babe, we can work this out. I love you. Get him out, Cassian said. They dragged Tate into rain. Car door slammed. Tires on pavement. Gone. Sudden silence was deafening. Corinne and Cassian stood in wreckage. 8 years of unfinished conversations filling space between them. People leave this moment all the time. They see the violence, the danger, the complexity, and they walk away. But if you're still here, if you need to know what happens when 2 people choose the hard path instead of the easy exit, then you're exactly where you need to be. Don't miss what comes next. The police, Corinne started. Won't come. My people intercepted the call. False alarm, neighbor overreacting. You can do that? I can do a lot of things, including things I should have done 8 years ago. Corinne laughed, bitter, broken. Like what? Stay, be a person. Yes. The honesty stopped her. I thought leaving would keep you safe, Cassian continued. I was wrong. You were a coward. Yes. You left me pregnant. The world stopped. Cassian's expression didn't change, but something behind his eyes detonated. What? Corinne's hand went to her mouth. She hadn't meant to say it, not like this. Junie, Juniper, she's yours. Silence stretched until it screamed. Cassian's mind did the math. 8 years old, dark hair, sharp eyes, his eyes. You never told me. You never gave me the chance. You vanished. I tried to find you, and every door slammed. Tears streamed down Corinne's bruised face. So, I kept her away from your world, because your world destroys everything. Does she know? No. Corinne, she doesn't know and she's not going to. You saved us tonight and I'm grateful. But you don't get to walk back in just because you kicked down a door. Cassian's jaw clenched. Everything in him wanted to argue, but one look at Corinne's face, bruised, fierce, protecting, and he understood. He'd lost the right to make demands. Okay. Corinne blinked. Okay? She doesn't have to know. Not yet. Cassian moved toward the door. But he's not coming back, and you're not staying here. Cass, I have an apartment, secure. You and Juniper move in tonight. We're not your responsibility. He turned, met her eyes. You became my responsibility the second she sent that text. You don't have to forgive me, but you will let me keep you safe. It wasn't a request. Corinne wanted to fight, but her body hurt, her daughter was traumatized, and pride was a luxury she couldn't afford. 1 month until I figure something else out. Cassian nodded, knowing she wouldn't figure anything else out. 20 minutes, pack your things. He walked out where his daughter stood behind his car, clutching 2 phones, watching the man who'd just saved her mother. Cassian crouched to her level. You Juniper? You're the number. I'm the number. She examined him with unsettling intensity. Are you a good guy or a bad guy? Cassian considered lying. I'm a bad guy who does good things sometimes. That's confusing. I know. Did you hurt him? Yes. Good, he deserved it. Something in Cassian's chest cracked wide open. You were brave tonight. That took guts. I was scared. Brave people are always scared. They just don't let it stop them. Juniper processed this. Are you scared? Of failing you, of being like my father, of you hating me when you find out, of letting your mother down again, he said instead. Juniper studied him. My mama loved you, didn't she? The question was a knife. Yes. Did you love her? Yes. Then why'd you leave? Because love made you slow, and slow got you killed. Because he thought distance was safety. Because he was 24 and stupid. I made a mistake, Cassian said, a really big one, and I'm going to spend a long time trying to fix it. Juniper looked at her house, at the broken door. Are we going to be okay now? Cassian wanted to promise yes. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure you are. That good enough? Juniper thought about it, nodded. Okay. She held out her hand. Cassian shook it. So small, so fragile, so completely dependent on him not to become the monster Tate had been. Come on, let's get your mom. They walked toward the house together, a mafia boss and the daughter he didn't know existed until 30 minutes ago. And Port Harrington held its breath. The apartment had working heat. First thing Juniper noticed at 3:47 a.m., actual heat, not 3 layers to stop shivering. Second thing, silence. No neighbors fighting through walls, no sirens. Just quiet so complete it felt like pressure. Behind her, Corinne and Cassian attempted breakfast together. Awkward, but trying. "Uni, food's ready." She walked inside. The table was set. Actual plates, actual napkins, attempted normal. Cassian had made eggs, slightly burned. Corinne had made toast. Too dark. Together they'd created recovery, imperfect but nourishing. "Smells good," Juniper lied. "Liar," Cassian said. But he smiled. They ate in comfortable silence. People who'd survived trauma together. Halfway through, Cassian set down his fork. "I need to tell you both something." Corinne tensed. "What?" "Word's out that I moved you here. People are asking why. That makes you interesting to the wrong crowd." "Interesting how?" "Leverage. They'll assume you matter to me. Try to use that." "Do I? Matter to you?" "Yes." "After 8 years?" "I never stopped." He caught himself. "What matters is keeping you safe from consequences of me feeling it." Corinne set down her coffee. "This is insane. We should leave. Nowhere else is safer." "I don't trust you, Cass." The words landed like bullets. Before he could respond, Juniper spoke. "I'm going to bed." "Junie, you need to talk to him." Juniper looked at Cassian. "You're not going to hurt her, right?" "Never." "Good, because if you do, I'll tell all your enemies where you live." Despite everything, Cassian's lip twitched. "That's fair." Juniper grabbed her backpack. "Go plan your war. I need sleep if I'm acing my math test tomorrow." "You're still worried about math tests?" "Life goes on even during crises, that's the point." She disappeared down the hallway. Later that afternoon, Juniper insisted on the library. Raina drove her. 3 tables away, close enough to intervene, far enough for illusion of privacy. Juniper typed, "Cassian Vale, Port Harrington results flooded. Suspected crime lord consolidates power. Vale organization linked to gun trafficking. Federal investigation stalls. Bodies found in harbor." She read everything, built a profile. Cassian Vale, 34. No convictions despite federal attention. Controlled 70% of Port Harrington's illegal trade. Known for strategic precision and extreme violence. Photos. Cassian leaving courthouses. At restaurants. Background of crime scenes. Always too far to implicate, close enough to blame. Exactly what her mother protected her from. Exactly what saved them. Juniper opened her notebook. Confirmed. Cassian Vale runs organized crime. Federal investigations. No convictions. Smart. Dangerous. Question. Why did Mama keep his number? Hypothesis. She loved him. He left. She was pregnant. He didn't know. Conclusion. He's my father. Nobody's told me because they think I can't handle it. Wrong. She closed the browser, cleared history, walked to Raina. "Find what you needed?" "Yeah." They went to a diner, ordered burgers. "How long have you worked for Cassian?" Juniper asked. 3 years? "You like him?" "I respect him. That's rarer." "Why?" "Because he has rules, lines he won't cross. Kids, civilians, people who work for him." "Is that why he saved us? Because we're his?" The question hung like a grenade. Raina set down her burger. "That's for him, not me." "You think he'll answer honestly?" "Cassian's the most honest liar I've ever met. He'll tell you truth even when it destroys him. So, he's complicated. He's human. Dangerous, but human." They finished eating. Walked back through streets that looked different in daylight, less menacing, more tired. Security cameras, keycard elevators. Fortress, not apartment. "Does anyone ever get past all this?" Juniper asked, not successfully. "What happens when they try?" Cassian makes sure they don't try twice. Back at the penthouse, Juniper walked straight to Cassian's office. Knocked once, didn't wait. He looked up from monitors and paperwork. "Are you my father?" The question detonated. Cassian's expression went carefully blank. Processing. "Did your mother tell you that?" he asked finally. "She didn't have to, I did the math." Juniper walked closer. "You showed up when I texted. You have my eyes. She cries about you. You left 8 years and 9 months ago. I'm 8. You're smart. Don't deflect, answer." Cassian leaned back. Studied this fierce little human who'd dismantled 8 years of secrets with observation and logic. "Yes," he said, "I'm your father." Juniper nodded slowly. "Does Mama know you know?" "As of yesterday." "Were you going to tell me?" "Eventually, when your mother decided you were ready." "I'm ready now." "That's not my call. It's about me. Shouldn't I get a say?" "Yes. But I gave up the right to make decisions when I left before you were born." Brutal honesty. Juniper appreciated it. "Why'd you leave?" "I thought I was protecting her. I was wrong." "You didn't know about me?" "No. Would you have stayed if you did?" The question every abandoned child asks. Cassian met her eyes, those eyes that matched his. "Yes, I would have stayed. Would have left Port Harrington, started somewhere clean." "But you didn't know, so you didn't stay, so I grew up without a father." "Yes. And now you're here and Mama's scared and people want to hurt us because of you." "Yes," Juniper processed. "You're not going to lie or sugarcoat, are you?" "No." "Good." She pulled out a chair, sat like a business meeting. "So here's my position. You left. That sucks. You're dangerous. Concerning. But you saved us when nobody else would. That counts." Cassian's throat tightened. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying I don't know if I want a father. Definitely don't know if I want one who runs criminal organizations. But I want Mama safe. Right now, you're the best option." "That's pragmatic." "I'm 8, not stupid." She sounded exactly like him. "So, what do you want from me?" he asked. "Keep us safe, don't disappear again, and truth, always, even when it's ugly." "I can do that." "Can you? Adults say lots of things. Judge me on what I do. If I fail, call me on it." Juniper considered, extended her hand. "Deal, but if you hurt Mama again, I'll find a way to hurt you back. I don't care how dangerous you are." Cassian shook her hand. "That's fair. One more thing." "Yes. Can I tell people you're my dad, or is that classified?" "Do you want to?" "I don't know yet. Depends if you do anything embarrassing." Despite everything, Cassian almost smiled. "I'll try to keep embarrassing to a minimum." "Good, I have a reputation." She stood, walked to the door, stopped. "For the record, I think you're trying. That's more than most people do." Then she left. Cassian sat alone staring at the door. She knew she'd figured it out. And instead of falling apart, she'd negotiated terms like a seasoned operative. His daughter was terrifying. He loved her instantly. The photo landed on Victor Harlow's desk at 6:43 a.m., black and white. Cassian Vale's sedan outside a rundown bungalow. Timestamp 2:34 a.m. Victor studied it through reading glasses that made him look professorial instead of lethal. 52, silver-haired, dressed like he ran hedge funds instead of heroin. "Whose house?" he asked. His lieutenant slid another photo. Corinne Alder's driver's license. Nobody. Waitress. 2 jobs. Lives with her daughter. So, why does Cassian Vale personally respond at 2 a.m.? Boyfriend was beating her. Vale dismantled him, moved them to his building within the hour. Victor removed his glasses, polished them. Cassian doesn't do charity, doesn't do impulse, which means he knows her. Old girlfriend, maybe? Maybe, Victor pulled up property records. And if she's old enough to matter, she's new enough to be leverage. The word hung like poison. You want surveillance? I want everything. Work history, family connections, the daughter's school, where they shop. Victor leaned back. Cassian just showed us his weakness. Let's see how much it costs to exploit it. Across the city, Cassian stood in his office, staring at security feeds. One camera on the guest room door, still closed. Corinne and Juniper sleeping. He hadn't slept, couldn't. His phone buzzed. Mark. Tate Hollinger, delivered to Pier 9. Broken ribs, dislocated shoulder. Very clear understanding that returning equals death. He talk? Begged mostly, I believe him. Good, what else? Mark hesitated. Harlow's people were asking questions about the woman. Why you intervened? Cassian's jaw tightened. How fast did word spread? Fast. Your name and that address hit the street by 4 a.m. Everyone knows. Let them wonder. Boss, wondering turns into digging. Digging turns into leverage. You just put a target on them. Then make sure nobody can reach the target. Cassian's voice went cold. Double security. Background checks on every employee. If Harlow's people get within 100 yards, I want to know. Copy. The line went dead. Cassian pulled up Port Harrington's web. Crews, territories, grudges. He'd spent years positioning himself at the center, making himself indispensable. But invincibility was a myth. Everyone had weak points. He'd just put his on display. The guest room door opened on the monitor. Corinne emerged, wearing yesterday's clothes, face bruised purple. Cassian met her in the hallway. Coffee? He offered. Is Juniper still sleeping? Let her. In the kitchen, he poured with the same precision he probably used to count money or load guns. Everything controlled, measured. How's your face? He asked. Looks worse than it feels. How's your conscience? Still functional, barely. She almost smiled. What happens now? Now you heal. Juniper adjusts. I make sure Tate stays gone and nobody else becomes a problem. Nobody else? You expecting company? Cassian debated, lying. Words out. People are asking why. That makes you interesting. Corinne's cup stopped. Interesting how? Leverage. They'll assume you matter. Try to use that. Do I? Matter to you? Yes. After 8 years of silence? I never stopped. He caught himself. It doesn't matter what I felt. What matters is keeping you safe from consequences of feeling it. Corinne set down her coffee. This is insane. We should leave. Nowhere else is safer, trust me. I don't trust you, Cass. That's the problem. The words landed like bullets. Juniper's door opened. She emerged dressed, notebook under one arm. Morning, she said, too casual. Morning, baby. Sleep okay? Fine. What's for breakfast? I can make... Corinne started. Sit. Cassian moved to the fridge. I'll handle it. Juniper climbed onto a bar stool. You cook? When necessary? What else are you good at? Solving problems. What kind? The kind most people can't solve themselves. Like Tate? Yes. Where is he now? Gone. Won't come back. How do you know? Because I made sure he understands consequences. Juniper opened her notebook, started writing. Do you do that a lot? Scare people? It's part of my job. What job? Here it was, truth or lies. Cassian, plated eggs, sat across from them. I run organizations in Port Harrington. Businesses most people prefer not to think about. Like what? Juniper. Corinne's voice carried warning. I'm just asking. Ask at school, not here. Juniper's eyes narrowed, but she dropped it. For now. She ate in silence, watching Cassian with intensity. After breakfast, Corinne suggested a walk. Normal activities, pretending. Juniper wanted the library. Why? Corinne frowned. Book report. It was a lie. They all knew it. I'll have someone drive you, Cassian offered. I can walk. You're not walking alone. I've been walking alone for years. Not anymore. Cassian texted. Raina will take you. Ex-military, smart, you'll like her. I don't need a babysitter. You need protection, there's difference. From who? From anyone who decides you're worth grabbing to get to me. The honesty stopped her. Oh, you're that important? Unfortunately. And that means we're in danger just being here? It means I'm making sure you're never in danger again. You can't promise that. I can try. Trying's not succeeding. No, but it's all I've got. She nodded slowly. Okay, I'll meet Raina. 20 minutes later, Raina arrived, lean, sharp-eyed, moving with confidence of someone who knew exactly how dangerous she was. She shook Juniper's hand like an equal. Rules are simple. I stay within sight. You tell me if anything feels wrong. Deal? Juniper looked at Cassian. She works for you? With me? What's the difference? She can tell me no. Raina smirked. And I do, frequently. Juniper liked her immediately. They left. Corinne watched from the window until they disappeared. She's going to research you, Corinne said. Look up your name, find out exactly who you are. I know. And when she finds articles about bodies in the harbor, then she'll ask questions. I'll answer honestly. You'll tell an 8-year-old you run organized crime. I'll tell her truth in language she can understand. She's smart enough to handle it. You don't know that. Then help me know her. Cassian's voice was raw. Tell me what she likes, what scares her, what makes her laugh. Help me be what she needs because I have no idea and I'm terrified of getting it wrong. Vulnerability cracked through armor like lightning. Corinne softened. She likes books, science fiction, strong female characters. She's scared of the dark but won't admit it. She laughs at dad jokes. Cassian absorbed every word like gospel. And right now, Corinne continued, she's scared we're going to get hurt because of you. So if you want to be what she needs, start by making sure that doesn't happen. I will. Cass, these people won't get near her, I swear it. You can't control everything. Watch me. The intensity should have been reassuring. Instead, it felt like a promise that would cost blood. And in Port Harrington, blood promises became prophecies. There are stories you watch from a distance, and stories you live through the screen. If you're still here, you're living this one. That means when the next move comes, and it's coming, you'll want to be the first to know. Subscribe. Because what happens when Victor makes his play will change everything. Victor Harlow made his move at 11:37 a.m. on a Tuesday. Corinne was halfway through her shift at Harbor Hearth Bakery, the last piece of normal. She'd insisted. Cassian insisted on security. They compromised. She'd work with 2 of Cassian's people nearby, invisible but watching. It worked for 3 days. Day 4, Victor's men approached. Corinne was refilling the pastry case when she felt it, that crawling awareness of being watched. She looked up. 2 men at the counter, mid-30s, expensive suits that didn't match the neighborhood, cold eyes assessing her like livestock. Help you? The taller one smiled, no warmth. Corinne Alder? Her stomach dropped. Who's asking? Friends of a friend. We'd like a conversation. I'm working. We can wait. He gestured to a booth. Or make this difficult, your choice. 12 customers. Security somewhere close, but not close enough. 5 minutes, she said. She told her manager she was taking a break. Sat across from them, hands visible. non-threatening, compliant, buying time. Who are you? Call me John. My associate is Paul. Fake names. We work for someone interested in your situation. What situation? Living with Cassian Vale, raising his daughter. That's complicated. The words his daughter hit like ice water. I don't know what. Please. John leaned forward. We're not amateurs. 8-year-old girl, dark hair, sharp eyes like his. She's Vale's kid, which makes you leverage. Leverage for what? That's between us and him. You're the messenger. John slid a phone across. Tell Vale to call the number. We have a proposition. If he's smart, he'll listen. And if he doesn't? Paul spoke for the first time. Gravel and cigarettes. Then we stop being polite. Your girl goes to Riverside Elementary, right? Gets out at 2:45? The threat was surgical, designed to hollow her out. Corinne's hands shook. She clenched them. You touch my daughter? We don't want to touch anyone. We want a conversation. Vale calls, we talk, everyone walks away breathing. John stood. 24 hours. After that, we stop asking nicely. They left. Corinne sat frozen, staring at the phone like it was a bomb. She grabbed it, hit speed dial for Cassian. He answered immediately. Corinne? They know. About Juniper, about us. They were just here. Who? I don't know. 2 men. They gave me a phone. Said you have 24 hours or they start making threats about Junie real. Silence. Then, where are you? Outside the bakery. My security. Weren't close enough? Cass, they threatened her school. They knew her schedule. I'm sending a car. 5 minutes. Stay visible. What are you going to do? Whatever I have to. The line went dead. The car arrived in 4 minutes. Raina behind the wheel. Get in. Corinne climbed in. They pulled away fast. Where's Juniper? Already extracted. Cassian pulled her from school an hour ago. An hour ago? How? He's been monitoring Harlow's people since he brought you in. He knew they'd make contact. If he knew, why let me go to work? Because hiding makes you look important. Routines make you look irrelevant. Calculated risk. That risk just threatened my daughter. And now Cassian knows exactly who's making moves and what they want. Valuable intel. Corinne wanted to scream. They arrived at Cassian's building. Security was doubled. Men in suits with obvious weapons. Juniper was in the living room with Cassian, playing chess, like the world wasn't on fire. Corinne stopped in the doorway. You pulled her from school. Cassian moved his bishop. Temporary precaution. Don't minimize. They know about her. They threatened her. I know. And you're playing chess? I'm teaching her strategy while keeping her calm. He looked up. Panicking helps no one. Juniper studied the board. Is this about the men at Mama's work? Both adults froze. How did you... Raina told me. Said there was a situation, but I was safe. Juniper moved her knight. So, what's the situation? Cassian's jaw tightened. Someone wants to hurt you to get to me. Can you stop them? Yes. Will you? Without question. Juniper captured his bishop. Then, I'm not scared. Check. Cassian stared at the board. At his daughter, who'd just cornered his king while discussing death threats like weather. You should be scared. Why? Being scared doesn't change anything. Responding does. 8 years old, giving lessons in tactical psychology. Cassian looked at Corinne. She's definitely mine. This isn't funny. I'm not laughing, but she's right. Fear is useless. Action matters. So, what's your action? Cassian walked to the window. The city sprawled below, rust and concrete. His kingdom, his graveyard. I'm going to call that number, hear their demands, then make them regret threatening my family. Your family? Corinne's voice was sharp. We're not your family. We're people you feel guilty about. You're both." He turned. "And that's why I'm going to end this before it starts." "How?" "By reminding Port Harrington why nobody touches what's mine." The temperature dropped 10 degrees. Juniper looked between them. "Are you going to kill people?" Cassian didn't flinch. "If necessary." "Will that fix it?" "It'll send a message." "What message?" "That threatening you was the last mistake they'll ever make." Juniper processed. "Okay." "Okay?" Corinne's voice pitched. "Junie, he just said he's going to kill people. What else should I say? We can't run. We can't hide. So either he stops them or they stop us." Juniper met her mother's eyes. "I'd rather us keep breathing." The logic was airtight and horrifying. Some moments define everything that follows. This is one of them. Cassian's about to make a choice that rewrites the rules of Port Harrington. And if you're not subscribed, you'll miss the moment when everything he's built either saves his family or buries them. Don't let that happen. Cassian made the call at 9:47 p.m. 8 hours analyzing the burner, tracing the number, identifying voice patterns, mapping connections back to Victor Harlow. 8 hours before dialing a number that would determine if his family lived or died. He pressed dial, 3 rings. A voice answered, smooth, educated, ruthless. "Mr. Vale, I was beginning to think you'd ignore our invitation. Victor Harlow, you've made a mistake." "Have I?" "You've been untouchable for years. Now, you're not. You threaten civilians, children. That breaks every rule. Your rules, not mine. Rules change when someone shows weakness." Harlow's voice smiled. "You kicked down a door at 2 a.m. for a waitress. That's weakness, Cassian, exposure. That's humanity. Humanity doesn't build empires. Neither does sentimentality about ex-girlfriends and illegitimate children." Cassian's grip tightened. "Say her name again." "Juniper, sweet kid, smart eyes, shame about her situation." Razorblade wrapped in politeness. "What do you want?" 40% of your waterfront operations. Free passage through your territory. Back off from the East Docks." "You're insane." "I'm pragmatic. Give me what I want, I leave your family alone. Refuse, and tragic accidents start happening. School buses lose brakes, bakeries catch fire, 8-year-old girls disappear." Cassian's mind raced. Give Harlow 40%, and he'd come back for 60. Show weakness and every crew would test him. But refuse and Juniper became a target. No winning move, only damage control. "I need time. 24 hours. Then my patience expires. 48, I need to consolidate accounts, shift operations." Harlow considered. 48 hours, but the girl stays visible, no hiding her. She maintains her routine or the deal's off. Non-negotiable, she stays protected. Then we have a problem. We have several. Cassian leaned back. "But I'm willing to negotiate if you are. 48 hours. No moves against my people. No surveillance on the girl. We meet on neutral ground." Silence. Calculating. Friday, noon, Riverside Park, public space, no weapons, no backup. Trap, obviously. But traps worked both ways. "Agreed," Cassian said. "Friday noon. Come alone. Wouldn't have it any other way." The line went dead. Cassian set down the phone, hand steady but mind screaming. 48 hours to dismantle a threat without getting his daughter killed. The office door opened. Corinne stood in the frame. "I heard. Walls aren't that thick." "You shouldn't have been listening." "My daughter's life is being negotiated. Where else would I be?" Cassian stood, moved to the window. "He wants you to give him half your empire or kill us," Corinne said. "Essentially. So, what are you going to do?" Make him think I'm complying, then remove him from the board permanently. Murder. Self-defense. That's not what the law calls it. The law doesn't apply here, only survival. Corinne walked closer. What if you can't? What if he's smarter or faster? He's not. You sound sure. I am. I've been building this for 12 years. Victor's been playing catch-up for 3. Hunger doesn't beat experience. He seems confident. Confidence gets you killed when it's not backed by capability. Cassian turned. I know how to win this, but it's going to get ugly. Uglier than death threats? Much? She processed. He knows about Juniper. Used her name. He's done research. Yes. So, even if you stop him, his people might come for revenge. Not if I dismantle his entire organization in one move. Is that possible? If I move first and decisively. Cassian pulled up a map. Port Harrington's territories marked. Red for Harlow, blue for Cassian, yellow for neutrals. Harlow has 4 lieutenants. Take them out simultaneously and his infrastructure collapses. No chain of command, no retaliation, just chaos. You're talking about killing 4 people in one night. I'm talking about eliminating threats before they eliminate us. Cass, I know how it sounds, but I will not lose her. His voice cracked. I won't lose either of you, not when I just found you. Corinne's eyes filled. We're not yours to lose. I know, but I'm going to protect you anyway. When does it start? Tomorrow night. While Harlow thinks I'm preparing payment, I'll be destroying his operation piece by piece. And if something goes wrong, it won't. But if it does, Cassian met her eyes. Then I'll make sure you and Uni are on a plane somewhere he can't follow before I go down fighting. Corinne's hands shook. I don't want you to die for us. Then I'll make sure I don't. Promise me. I can't promise that. Cass, I can promise I'll do everything in my power to come back, that I'll fight smarter and harder than I've ever fought. That Harlow picked the wrong family. He stepped closer. But I won't lie, this is war. People die in wars. Not you. You don't get to come back just to die. I'll do my best, that's all I've got. It wasn't enough, it was everything. Down the hall, Juniper sat on her bed, notebook open. Day 4 in Cassian's building. Threat level. Critical. Victor Harlow wants to hurt us to control Cassian's response. Meeting Friday, planning something tonight. My response, uncertain question. If protecting us means killing people, is that murder or defense? These weren't questions 8-year-olds should answer. But 8-year-olds shouldn't have to text emergency numbers either. She searched. Victor Harlow Port. Harrington results were impressive in the worst way. Money laundering. Suspected homicides. Acquiring territory through intimidation and violence. He'd killed before. Would kill again, was threatening to kill her. Should have been terrifying. Instead, just data. Juniper minimized the browser. Pulled up a mapping program, started plotting. Harlow's businesses, properties, known associates. 8 years old, building a tactical map because waiting felt like dying slowly. A knock. Cassian's voice. Uni, you awake? Yeah. He opened the door, saw the laptop, the map, the research. You're building an intelligence file. Seemed useful. It is, but it's something you shouldn't have to do. Lots of things I shouldn't have to do. This one feels productive. She gestured. He has 4 main locations. Hit them all at once, his operation fractures. Cassian stared at his daughter, at the strategic mind that matched his. I was coming to tell you you're safe, that I'll handle this. I know, but I want to understand how so I can help if things go wrong. Things won't. Statistically, uncontrolled variables create unexpected outcomes. You can plan perfectly and still have chaos. She tilted her head. So, what's your chaos contingency? Cassian sat on her bed. You? Me? If anything goes wrong, Raina takes you and your mother to a safe house. Everything's arranged. Money, documents, new identities if necessary. You'd let us disappear? I'd make sure you survive. That's all that matters. Juniper processed. You really mean that? You'd lose us to save us? Yes, that's either really noble or really stupid. It can be both. She saved her map, closed the laptop. For what it's worth, I think you're going to win. Victor seems overconfident. Overconfidence creates blind spots. You're right. I usually am. She pulled up her blanket. One question, though. Yes? After you win, because I'm choosing to believe you will, what happens to us? The question held layers. Identity, belonging. That's up to your mother, but I'd like you to stay, both of you, if you want to. As what, family? I was hoping family, but not my call. She studied him. You're scared of wanting things, aren't you? Surgical, accurate, devastating. Yes. Wanting things in my world usually means losing them. So you keep distance. Protect yourself by not letting anyone matter. That was the theory. How's it working? Terribly, she nodded. Good, because detachment is loneliness with better marketing, and you've been lonely long enough. Cassian's throat tightened. When did you get this smart? I was born this smart. I just didn't have anyone worth using it on. She settled into pillows. Go plan your war. I need sleep for my math test. You're still worried about math tests? Life goes on, even during crises, that's the point. Cassian stood. Uni? Yeah? Thank you for texting that number, for being brave, for giving me a chance to be better. You're welcome, but you're not better yet, you're just trying. Keep trying until it sticks. I will. He left her room. And somewhere in his chest, in the cavity where he'd buried every soft emotion, something cracked open and started breathing. It felt like hope. It felt like terror. It felt like something worth dying for. Tomorrow night, he'd find out if it was worth killing for, too. What comes next will test every promise Cassian just made. If you're not subscribed, you'll miss the night Port Harrington burns, and only one man walks out. Don't miss it. The first lieutenant died at 11:43 p.m. Marcus Volkov, Harlow's logistics coordinator. He left his mistress's apartment and never made it to his car. 2 bullets, suppressed, professional. The second died at 12:17 a.m. Polly Chen, money launderer. Working late, 4th floor, fell from his window, tragic accident. Surveillance showed nothing. The third died at 1:05 a.m. Diego Santos, enforcement, muscle. Grabbed, leaving a bar, driven to the harbor, found tied to anchor chain, 3 down, 1 to go. Victor Harlow received word of each death via text, watching his empire dismantle in real time. Cassian orchestrated from his penthouse, surrounded by monitors, moving pieces like chess grandmaster executing endgame. Mark reported. Santos handled, clean. Good, position for final target. I want this finished before dawn. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. Impressive. Victor's voice was ice wrapped in rage. 3 of my people dead in 90 minutes. You threatened my family. I'm extremely motivated. You think I didn't plan for this? Keys clicking. Does Juniper take the north or south stairwell when she leaves for school? Cassian's blood turned to ice. She's protected. Can't I? Let me tell you what's going to happen. The line went dead. Not disconnected. Cut. Jammed. Cassian's screens flickered, went dark. Rebooted with red text. Hello, Cassian. Surprise. Cyber attack. Systems compromised. He grabbed his backup phone, hit panic button, nothing. Signal blocked, his door burst open. Mark and Jonesy, guns drawn. "Boss, problem. Building's on lockdown. Someone triggered emergency protocols remotely. We're sealed in." "Override it." "Can't. Systems hacked. Every door locked. Elevators frozen." Jonesy's voice was tight. "We're trapped." Harlow hadn't just anticipated the attack. He'd planned a counterattack that turned Cassian's fortress into a prison. Corinne and Uni? Guest room door locked from outside, contained but safe. For now isn't good enough. Cassian moved to his weapons safe. How many hostiles? Unknown. Building management got a bomb threat. First responders staging outside but won't breach until bomb squad clears. Which could take hours. Exactly. Harlow bought himself time. Cassian's blood froze. "The guest room, check it now." They ran. Mark shot out the mechanism, kicked it open, empty, both beds made, shoes gone, backpack missing. Window open 6 inches. Cassian leaned out, saw the rappelling line anchored above, disappearing into the alley. Professional extraction, military precision. The trap had never been about defending territory. It was making Cassian think he was winning while Harlow took the only pieces that mattered. "They're gone," Mark said. Cassian's phone buzzed. Video message loaded. Victor Harlow appeared, warehouse setting, Corinne zip-tied to a chair beside him. Her lip was bleeding. Fresh damage. Juniper wasn't visible, but Cassian could hear her. "You're making a mistake." Harlow smiled at the camera. "Hello, Cassian. As you can see, your family is enjoying my hospitality." He stood, walked behind Corinne, put his hand on her shoulder. She flinched. "Here are the new terms. 60% of your operations, not 40, 60, delivered publicly at Fairhaven Pier, Friday noon, in front of every crew in Port Harrington. You'll kneel, hand over your empire, announce your retirement. And if I refuse, then I start sending pieces of them back, starting with fingers, then toes, then more important parts." Harlow's smile widened. "But you won't refuse, because you love them, and love makes you weak." The screen went black. Cassian stood frozen, staring at the empty display where his family had just been threatened with torture. Every instinct screamed to tear the city apart. Every tactical bone warned rage made you sloppy. "Boss? Orders?" Cassian's hands clenched, unclenched. Breathing slowed, fury channeling into something colder. "Get me everything on Harlow's properties, every warehouse, safe house, business front, locations, security, entry points. That's at least 20 sites. Then we eliminate them systematically. If we hit wrong location, he might kill them. He won't, not yet. Killing them ends his leverage. He needs them alive. But torture, won't happen because I'm going to find them first." Cassian holstered his weapon. "Every person we have on the street, eyes on every property Harlow owns within the hour." Mark and Jonesy exchanged glances, nodded. "Yes, sir." They left. Cassian stood alone, staring at the repelling line. He'd been outmaneuvered. Harlow had anticipated his attack, countered with precision, taken the only things that could force surrender. But Harlow made one critical mistake. He'd assumed Cassian would choose empire over family, would calculate odds and protect holdings rather than risk everything. He'd assumed wrong. Cassian had built his empire on cold strategy, but he was about to burn every bit to ash if that's what it took. Because Victor Harlow was right about one thing. Love made you weak. It also made you absolutely lethal. The next 6 hours determine who survives dawn. Miss it, and you'll never know if Cassian finds them in time, or if Harlow's threats become reality. Subscribe now. Corinne regained consciousness to rust and salt water. Her head throbbed. They'd hit her, not hard enough to crack skull, just enough to stop fighting when they'd climbed through the window with military efficiency and zip-tied her wrists. She'd tried to scream, they'd gagged her. Tried to reach Juniper, they'd grabbed her daughter first. Professionals, trained, no hesitation. Now she was in a warehouse near the harbor. She could hear foghorns, smell the Atlantic, feel damp cold. Victor Harlow sat across from her, legs crossed, looking like he was conducting a job interview. "Mrs. Alder, so nice to finally meet. I'm Victor." Corinne's mouth was gagged. She glared. "Oh, right." He nodded to one of his men. The gag was removed roughly. "Better? Where's my daughter?" "Safe. Next room. Quite the firecracker. Demanded to know my legal authorization for detention and threatened to report me to the FBI." Victor smiled, 8 years old and negotiating like a defense attorney. Cassian must be proud. "If you hurt her, I won't, not unless Cassian forces my hand. This isn't about hurting people, it's business. Cassian has something I want. Your leverage, simple economics. You're a monster. I'm a businessman. There's a difference." "Not from where I'm sitting." Victor laughed. "You have spirit. I can see why Cassian came running." He stood, walked to a laptop, pulled up files, photos of Juniper at school, Corinne at the bakery, surveillance footage. "I've been watching you for days, studying patterns. Tonight was perfect." Cassian was distracted, his attention divided, security focused outward. "He'll come for us. I'm counting on it. That's the point." In the next room, separated by thin wall and locked door, Juniper sat on a metal folding chair, hands zip-tied in front. 3 guards watched her. She counted their weapons. 2 handguns, 1 rifle. They weren't expecting trouble from an 8-year-old. Mistake. She'd been conscious when they grabbed her. Pretended to pass out to avoid additional restraints. Memorized the route. 12 turns, 8 miles, heading east toward industrial waterfront. Warehouse. Isolated, probably abandoned. Good for concealment, bad for escape. But every prison had weaknesses. Every guard got complacent. Every lock could be picked. Juniper had neither patience nor tools, but she had a mind that worked like her father's. One guard, youngest, maybe 25, kept glancing at his phone. Distracted, bored, underestimating. Mistake. "Excuse me," Juniper said quietly. All 3 looked. The young one stepped forward. "Yeah, kid? I need to use the bathroom." "Hold it. I can't. I've been here for an hour and I had a lot of water, and if you don't let me go, I'm going to wet myself and your boss is going to be mad you let his hostage sit in her own urine." Airtight logic. The young guard looked at his partners. They shrugged. "Fine, but you try anything. I'm 8, what am I going to do?" He almost smiled. Led her to a bathroom in the corner. Dingy, 1 stall, small window too high. 2 minutes. "Can you at least cut my zip tie? It's hard to use the bathroom with bound hands." He hesitated, pulled out a knife. Cut the tie. Mistake. Juniper entered the stall, locked it, counted to 30. Flushed, washed hands loudly, opened door. The guard leaned against the sink, scrolling his phone. She walked past, stumbled, grabbed his arm to steady herself. "Careful, kid. Sorry, dizzy." He led her back. Zip tied her hands again, tighter but manageable. And in her pocket, invisible to guards, was the knife she'd lifted during that stumble. Back in the main space, the door unlocked. Juniper was brought out. "Juniper, are you—" "I'm fine, Mama." Her voice was steady. Her eyes flicked to guards, exits, laptop. Processing, planning. Victor noticed. "Your daughter is remarkably composed. Most children would be crying." "She's not most children," Corinne said. Clearly. He crouched in front of Juniper. "Do you know why you're here? Leverage against Cassian Vale. You're using us to force his surrender. Victor blinked. You're very informed. I pay attention. And I read the files you left open on your laptop when you walked away. His expression hardened. You can't read a laptop from across the room. The reflection in the window behind you showed enough. You want 60%. You plan to humiliate him publicly at Fairhaven Pier. You think breaking him emotionally is more valuable than killing him. The accuracy hit like a hammer. Victor stood slowly. How old are you? 8. Why? Did you want to revise your strategy now that you know your hostage can read upside-down reflections and has photographic recall? Corinne's heart stopped. Uni was antagonizing him. Victor studied her with new concern. You're dangerous. Not yet, but I will be. Juniper met his eyes without flinching. And when I am, I'll remember your face. The threat from an 8-year-old should have been laughable. Instead, it was chilling, because everyone believed she meant it. Victor's phone buzzed. He smiled. Cassian's mobilizing his entire network. Empty, of course. I moved you here specifically because he'd never think to look. He'll figure it out, Corinne said. Maybe, eventually, but by then it won't matter. Victor moved toward the door. Get comfortable, you're going to be here a while. He left. 6 guards remained, 3 watching Corinne, 3 watching Juniper. The odds were impossible, which meant they needed to get creative. Juniper caught her mother's eye, tapped her pocket twice. A signal. Corinne's eyes widened. Understanding. They had a weapon. Tiny, insufficient, but something. Now they just needed opportunity. And somewhere across Port Harrington, Cassian Vale was burning through properties and patience, racing against a clock. The hunt was on. The question was whether he'd find them before Victor decided dead hostages were more useful than living ones. What happens when an 8-year-old with a stolen knife faces 6 armed men? Subscribe, because the answer will either break your heart or make you believe in miracles. Property. 18 was empty. Cassian kicked through the door at 3:47 a.m. to find rats and rust. Harlow's warehouse on Dock Street held 0 hostages and broken crates. Mark emerged. Clear. Nobody's been here in weeks. 18 properties searched. 18 failures. His phone buzzed. Jonesy. Property 19 is a decoy. Found surveillance equipment aimed at entrance. He's watching us chase ghosts. Move to 20. Cassian stared at the map. Red pins for cleared locations, blue for remaining targets. Think. Victor wouldn't risk a location Cassian knew about. Needed somewhere isolated close to harbor, the foghorns. Corinne had heard foghorns. That meant proximity to harbor mouth. Limited search radius. Cassian pulled up maritime industrial zones. Filtered for abandoned properties. 6 results. 1 was the old redfish processing plant. Decommissioned 4 years ago, owned through shell companies tracing to Victor's network. Not on any official holdings. That's why it wouldn't be on Cassian's grid. Perfect. He sent the address. Converge on redfish plant. Go dark, no sirens, quiet insertion. Then he was moving, the sedan peeling out toward waterfront with Mark at the wheel. If you're wrong, I'm not wrong. How do you know? Because Victor's smart. He'd hide them where I wouldn't think to look until I'd exhausted everything obvious. Redfish is off-grid, perfect for containment. Mark floored it. Cassian checked his weapon, full magazine, round-chambered, ready. His phone buzzed, unknown number, a photo. Juniper, sitting in a chair, hands bound, staring at camera with defiant eyes that looked exactly like his. Below, she's brave, for now. Tick-tock Cassian. Rage detonated, cold, focused. He texted back, I'm coming, and when I find you, you're going to wish you'd killed me first. Response: empty threats from a desperate man. Friday, Cassian. Bring your empire or bring a body bag. Cassian didn't respond, stared at Juniper's face. She looked scared, but underneath was something calculating. His daughter was planning something. Don't do anything stupid, Junie. Wait for me. At the redfish processing plant, Juniper had been watching guard patterns for 2 hours. The young one rotated shifts every 90 minutes. The older two stayed posted by exits. Victor himself hadn't returned. 3 guards active at any moment. 6 total. All armed, but increasingly complacent. Her mother sat 15 feet away, still zip-tied, eyes closed but not sleeping. Conserving energy. The knife in Juniper's pocket was tiny, folding blade, barely 2 inches. Not enough to fight, but enough to cut zip ties if she got 30 seconds unsupervised. The question was timing. Too early, and guards would catch her. Too late, and Cassian might trigger a firefight. She needed a distraction. Her eyes landed on the laptop Victor left. Still open, still connected. If she could reach it, if she could send a message or trigger an alarm, but that required being unbound, required moving across 20 feet, required not getting shot. Impossible odds, which meant she needed to create better ones. Excuse me. The guard closest, scarred, older, glanced over. What? I need water. You'll survive. Please, my throat's really dry and I feel dizzy. And if I pass out from dehydration, Victor's going to be mad. The guard sighed, looked at his partner. Get her some water. Partner moved toward a cooler, back turned. 30 seconds. Juniper slid the knife from her pocket with bound hands, positioned blade against zip tie, started sawing. Tiny movements. Silent. Plastic resisted. She pushed harder. Here. The guard returned with a bottle, held it to her lips. She drank. The knife stayed hidden, half cut through. Thanks. He walked away. She went back to sawing. Slow, patient. Plastic fraying, strand by strand. Across the room, Corinne's eyes opened, saw what Juniper was doing. Her face went pale. She shook her head. Don't. Too dangerous. Juniper met her gaze, mouthed, "Trust me." Then the zip tie snapped. Her hands were free. She kept them positioned like they were still bound. Counted guard positions. Mapped the route to the laptop. 12 steps, 2 crates for cover, exposed for 5 seconds. The young guard was on his phone. The others watching doors. Nobody watching her closely. She stood slowly. I need the bathroom again. You just went. I'm 8, my bladder's small. Do you want me to pee on this chair? The young guard groaned. Fine. He started walking with her. This was it. Juniper stumbled, grabbed his arm. Sorry, still dizzy. You okay? She drove her knee into his groin with every ounce of 8-year-old strength. Not much, but enough. He doubled over. She ripped the gun from his holster, too heavy, too big, and aimed at his head. Don't move. The other guard spun. Weapons rising. Juniper backed toward her mother. Gun shaking, but finger on trigger. Nobody shoots or I pull it. The scarred guard laughed. Kid, you don't even know how... She adjusted her grip, flicked off the safety. My father runs organized crime. You think I don't know how guns work? The laughter died. Keys, now, unlock her. You're going to get yourself killed, he wheezed. Maybe, but I'm taking you with me, keys. He tossed them. They landed at Corinne's feet. Mama, unlock yourself. Corinne's hand shook as she grabbed keys, unlocked zip ties. Stood. Now what? She whispered. Now we run. There are 6 armed men and 1 exit. 2 exits, fire escape and back. I saw it when they brought me in. That's 20 yards through open warehouse. Then we move fast. The scarred guard's radio crackled. Victor's voice, "Status." Silence. I said, "Status, what's happening?" Juniper backed toward rear, gun raised, mother beside her. "They're contained." Scarred guard finally said, "Situation under control." "It better be." Cassian just burned through 18 properties. The radio cut out. 18 properties. Cassian was searching. Desperately, he was coming. They just needed to survive long enough. Juniper reached the fire escape door, pushed it, locked. "Shoot it," Corinne whispered. "That'll alert everyone. We're out of options." She was right. Juniper aimed at the lock, pulled trigger. Recoil knocked her back. Sound was deafening. Lock shattered. Door swung open into rain and darkness. They ran. Behind them, guards shouted, boots on concrete, pursuit. The alley was narrow, wet, filled with dumpsters. Corinne grabbed Juniper's hand. They sprinted, 50 yards, 40, 30. Headlights blazed at the alley mouth. A car screeched to a stop. Doors flew open. Victor Harlow emerged, flanked by 2 guards, trapped. Guards behind, Victor ahead. Corinne pulled Juniper close. "It's okay, baby. We tried." "Mama, I'm sorry." "Don't be. You're the bravest person I know." Victor walked toward them slowly. Rain plastered silver hair to skull. That was impressive. Stupid, but impressive. He looked at Juniper. "You really are Cassian's daughter. Same reckless courage." "We're not defeated," Juniper said. "We're just regrouping." With nowhere to regroup to. Victor raised his gun, pointed it at Corinne. "Get back inside, now, or I shoot her and you watch." The gun barrel was a black hole. Juniper lowered her weapon, raised hands. "Okay, we'll go back." They turned toward the warehouse. Started walking. Guards closing in. Then the night exploded. Gunfire, screaming. Tactical lights cutting through rain. Cassian's team hit the alley from 3 directions. Mark and Jonesy from street, 4 more from adjacent building. Cassian himself from warehouse roof. He dropped into the alley like an avenging angel, weapon raised, firing with surgical precision. Victor's guards went down, 1, 2, 3. Victor grabbed Juniper, held her like a shield, gun to her head. "Stand down, Cassian. Stand down or she dies." Everything stopped. Cassian stood 15 feet away, weapon trained on Victor's head, rain streaming down his face. "Let her go. Drop your weapon first." "Not happening." "Then we have a problem." Victor's gun pressed harder. "Because I will pull this trigger." Juniper's voice was small but steady. "Don't give him what he wants, Cassian. He's bluffing." "I'm really not," Victor said. "You are. If you kill me, you lose leverage. Cassian destroys you. So you're going to threaten, but you won't." Victor moved the gun from her head to her shoulder, pulled the trigger. The shot echoed like the end of the world. Juniper screamed. Blood bloomed. She collapsed. Corinne's shriek cut through rain. Cassian's world shattered. "Next one goes through her heart," Victor said calmly. "Now drop your weapon or watch your daughter bleed out." Everything rides on the next 60 seconds. Subscribe now, because what Cassian does next will either save his family or destroy them all. You won't want to miss it. Cassian dropped his gun. It hit pavement like surrender. His hands raised, eyes never leaving Juniper's crumpled form. She was conscious, breathing, blood spreading across her shoulder. 8 years old, shot because of him. "Smart choice," Victor said. He kicked the weapon away. "See? When properly motivated, even legends can be reasonable." Mark moved. Victor swung his gun. "Ah! Everyone stays or the next shot is lethal." Cassian's team froze. "Here's what happens," Victor continued, still using Juniper as shield. You call off your people. Then we have a conversation about Friday's terms." Cassian's voice was dead calm. "Understood. Tell them to stand down." "Stand down." Victor smiled. "See how easy." Juniper moved. She'd been playing possum, not unconscious, calculating. The wound was real and agonizing, but she'd learned something. Victor wouldn't shoot her heart because then he'd have nothing. But shoulders? Shoulders were negotiable. She drove her elbow back into Victor's knee. Not hard enough to break, but enough to destabilize. Victor stumbled. Grip loosened. Corinne lunged, grabbed Victor's gun arm, twisted with every ounce of desperation. The weapon discharged. Bullet went wide. Cassian was already moving. He closed 15 feet in under 2 seconds, shoulder-checked Victor away from Juniper, drove his fist into the older man's face with enough force to crack bone. Victor went down hard. Cassian stood over him, breathing hard, fists clenched. Every instinct screamed to keep hitting. "Cass!" Corinne's voice, urgent. "Help her," he snapped back. Spun toward Juniper. She sat against the wall, hand pressed to shoulder, blood seeping through fingers. Face pale, but eyes clear. "I'm okay," she said through gritted teeth. "It went through, missed the bone. You're shot, Uni. I've had worse." "When?" "Okay, I haven't, but I will be fine." Cassian knelt beside her. His hands shook as he pressed his jacket to the wound. "You're 8. You shouldn't know what getting shot feels like." "Yeah, well, I'm a quick learner." Despite everything, he almost smiled. "You did good, kid. Stupid, but good." "Runs in the family." Mark appeared with first aid. "Ambulance is 2 minutes out. Clean entry and exit. She'll survive." Behind them, Victor groaned, tried to sit up. Jonesy put a boot on his chest. "This isn't over." Victor spat blood. "My people will retaliate." Cassian stood, walked back, crouched beside Victor. "You're right. Killing you doesn't solve anything." He leaned closer. "But I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to dismantle everything you've built, your operations, your money, your reputation. By sunrise, Victor Harlow won't exist. You can't. Watch me." Cassian stood, nodded to Mark. "Take him to Pier 9. I'll deal with him after my daughter survives her first gunshot wound." The ambulance arrived. Paramedics loaded Juniper. Corinne climbed in beside her. Cassian watched them drive away, sirens cutting through rain, red lights disappearing. His daughter had been shot. His daughter had saved herself. His daughter was exactly like him in all the ways that terrified him. "Boss?" Mark's voice was careful. "What about Harlow? What about him? You said Pier 9. That's where we took Tate." "I know." Tate left breathing. "You planning the same?" Cassian turned. His expression was empty, cold. "Tate threatened 2 people. Victor shot my daughter. No, Victor doesn't leave breathing. What Cassian does to Victor will send a message Port Harrington never forgets. Subscribe. The reckoning is brutal, and you won't want to miss a second." Cassian walked into Pier 9 at 5:43 a.m. Victor Harlow was chained to the support beam, bruised, bloody, defiant. Come to gloat? Come to finish it. Cassian sat, studied him. "Before you die, you should know your people are currently being arrested. Federal agents received anonymous tips, locations, names, ledgers, everything." Victor's face went pale. "You wouldn't." "I did, last night. While you were busy using my daughter as shield, I uploaded your complete database to the FBI." Cassian smiled without warmth. "Turns out prosecutors love gift-wrapped RICO cases. You sent us all to prison?" "I sent criminals to prison. My people know how to avoid stupid mistakes." He leaned forward. "But you? You made the stupidest mistake possible. You hurt what I love. Now you pay." Victor laughed, broken, desperate. "So you're going to kill me? That makes you a monster." "No. Killing you makes me a father protecting his daughter." He pulled out his phone. Showed Victor. Bank accounts emptied. Properties seized. Assets frozen. Everything Victor built, gone. You're broke, broken. And in 4 hours you'll be arrested for attempted murder, kidnapping, racketeering, life without parole. Cassian put the phone away. Death would be mercy. You don't get mercy. Victor stared, reality sinking in. You destroyed everything. You shot my daughter. Did you expect a handshake? She's fine. I didn't kill her. You shot an 8-year-old child. Cassian's voice dropped to lethal quiet. If she'd died, you'd already be in the harbor. But she lived, so you get to live too, in federal prison, forever. The punishment was perfect. Victor would spend decades in a cage watching his empire crumble. Alive, but irrelevant. Breathing, but erased. Worse than death. Cassian walked toward the exit. Stopped. "One more thing. You were right about something." "What?" "Love does make you weak, but it also makes you lethal. You're proof." He left Victor chained. Anonymous tip to police in 30 minutes. They'd find him, process him, lock him away forever. At Port Harrington Memorial, Juniper was out of surgery. Stable. The bullet had created a through-and-through, painful but not life-threatening. Corinne sat in the waiting room, blood on her clothes, hands shaking, replaying the moment. Victor pulled that trigger. Raina appeared. "She's out, stable. Doctors say full recovery, no permanent damage." The relief hit like a tidal wave. Corinne's vision blurred. "Can I see her?" "Recovery room, this way." Juniper lay on a hospital bed, shoulder bandaged, IV in arm, eyes closed, but breathing, alive, safe. Corinne collapsed into the chair beside the bed, grabbed Juniper's hand, held on. "Hey baby, I'm here." Juniper's eyes opened, groggy but aware. "Did we win?" "What? Did we win? Did Cassian stop Victor?" "Uni, you were shot." "Did we win?" "Yes, we won." "Good." Juniper's eyes closed. "Worth it then." Getting shot is never worth it. Staying alive is. We stayed alive, therefore worth it. The logic was airtight and horrifying and so completely Cassian. Cassian walked into the room, saw Juniper, breathing, alive. His composure finally cracked. He sank into the chair on the other side of the bed, took her other hand. "Hey, Uni." Her eyes opened. "Hey, Cassian." Not Dad, not yet, just his name. "How's the shoulder?" "Hurts, but the doctor says I can tell people I got shot and they'll think I'm lying, so that's cool." Corinne shot him a look. "See what you've done?" "You scared me," Cassian said. "You scared me too, when Victor had me. I almost didn't find you in time. But you did, that's what matters." She set down the Jell-O. "So what happens now? Is Victor gone?" "He's gone. Won't bother us again." "Did you kill him?" "No, worse. Gave him to the justice system." Juniper considered. Smart. Dead people become martyrs. Imprisoned people become warnings. "Where did you learn that?" "Books." She tilted her head. "So, are we safe now?" The question he'd been dreading, because the honest answer was complicated. "For now, but my world doesn't do permanent safety. There will always be threats." "So, we're never really safe?" "Not never, just not guaranteed." Juniper processed. "What about leaving, starting over? Would that be safer?" Cassian looked at Corinne. "That's not my decision alone." "You're asking me?" Corinne's voice was sharp. "After she got shot because of your world?" "Yes, because you deserve a choice. Stay here and I'll spend every resource keeping you protected. Leave and I'll set you up anywhere with new identities, no connection to me. You'd let us go? I'd let you be safe, whatever that requires. Corinne looked at Juniper. What do you want, baby? Juniper's answer was immediate. I want to stay. Junie, I want to stay because leaving means hiding forever, means always looking over our shoulders, means pretending we're not who we are. She looked at Cassian. You're my father. Danger or not, that's the truth. And I'm tired of living around truths instead of in them. Cassian's throat tightened. I'm 8, and I got shot, and I survived, and I learned I'm tougher than I thought. So stop treating me like I'm fragile. I'm not. I'm yours. And that means something. I'm yours, not genetically, chosen, claimed, his. Cassian looked at Corinne. And you? She was quiet, processing, weighing. Finally, I want guarantees you can't give, safety you can't promise, a normal life that stopped being possible. She met his eyes. But Uni's right. Running means hiding, and I'm tired of hiding, so we stay, but you promise me something. Anything. No more secrets, no more protecting us by keeping us in the dark. If there's danger, you tell us. We decide together. We're a family or we're nothing. Family. Cassian nodded. Deal. No secrets. No hiding. We face everything together. Good. She left for coffee, leaving Cassian alone with his daughter who'd just been shot defending herself. She's going to forgive you eventually, Juniper said. It just takes time. You sound sure. I am, because she loves you. She's just scared of it. How do you know? Because I see how she looks at you when you're not watching. Cassian absorbed this. When did you get this wise? I've always been this wise. Adults just don't listen. She yawned. So what happens next? You heal. We figure out how to be a family. Sounds complicated. It is. Good. I like complicated. She closed her eyes, medication pulling her back toward sleep. Cassian sat watching his daughter breathe, bandaged, battle-scarred, alive, and felt something shift. The cavity where he'd buried every soft emotion cracked open completely. Not weakness, purpose, clarity, a reason to be better, for her, for this, for the family he'd never meant to have and couldn't imagine living without. One more chapter, one final truth. Stay close. The ending will either break you or put you back together. 3 weeks later, Juniper stood on the balcony watching Port Harrington wake up. Her shoulders still ached, but the scar was healing. Clean, straight. A permanent reminder she'd survived. She wore it like a medal. Behind her, Corinne and Cassian attempted breakfast together. Awkward, but trying. Uni, food's ready. She walked inside. The table was set. Actual plates, actual napkins, attempted normal. Cassian had made eggs, slightly burned. Corinne had made toast, too dark. Together they'd created recovery, imperfect but nourishing. They ate in comfortable silence. People who'd survived trauma together. Halfway through, Cassian set down his fork. I need to tell you both something. Corinne tensed. What? I'm stepping back from the organization, not completely, that's not how it works, but delegating operations to Mark. Taking a more advisory role. Juniper blinked. You're retiring. Semi-retiring. Staying involved enough to maintain protection, but distant enough that I'm not the primary target. Why? Corinne asked. Because being the king makes you a target, and being a target makes you a liability to the people you love. He looked at Juniper. I can't stop all threats, but I can reduce the number who want me dead and therefore want to hurt you. You're doing this for us, Corinne said. I'm doing it because family matters more than empire, and I almost learned that too late. Raw honesty, Juniper processed. So, what will you do instead? I don't know yet. Maybe learn to cook without burning everything. Maybe figure out how to be a normal father who goes to school plays. There's nothing normal about you. Fair, but I can try." Corinne's eyes filled. "You're serious." "Completely. I'm not abandoning what I've built, but I'm choosing what matters more. You matter more." Later that afternoon, Juniper insisted on visiting the hydrangea bush at their old house. Strange request, but Cassian drove them anyway. The bungalow looked smaller, chipped paint, sagging porch, flowers blooming stubbornly. "Why here?" he asked. Juniper pulled out scissors, cut 3 stems, handed one to Corinne, one to Cassian, kept one. "Mama cries when she looks at these because they remind her of you, of what she lost. But I think they should remind us of what we survived instead." She placed her stem on the porch. Corinne did the same, tears streaming. Cassian added his to the small bouquet. "This is where it started," Juniper said. "Where you left, where we struggled, where everything hurt, but it's also where I sent that text that brought you back. So I think we should remember both. The pain and the rescue, the breaking and the healing." Cassian crouched beside her. "You're 8 and you're teaching me philosophy. Someone has to. You're emotionally stunted." Corinne laughed through tears. "She's not wrong. No, she's really not." They stood together in front of the house that had been a cage and a home and a battlefield. Then they got back in the car and drove to the penthouse that was becoming something else, a beginning. That evening, Cassian found Juniper on the balcony, notebook open. "What are you working on?" "My book report, due tomorrow." "What's it about?" "A girl who has to save herself because the adults are too broken. But then she realizes broken doesn't mean useless, just means human." Cassian's chest tightened. "That's very mature. It's also fiction, technically, even though it's based on real events." She looked up. "The teacher's going to think I made it all up." "Good, let them, safer that way." "Safer isn't always better." "No, but sometimes necessary." She nodded. "Wrote something." "Then, can I ask you something?" "Always?" "Do you regret coming back, finding us, knowing about me?" The question gutted him. "Never, not for 1 second." "Even though it got me shot?" "You got shot because Victor was a monster, not because you're my daughter. But I became a target because I'm your daughter. Yes, and I'll spend the rest of my life making sure that truth doesn't cost you more than it already has." He sat beside her. "But regret?" "No. You and your mother are the best thing that ever happened to me." She processed. "Okay, good. Because I don't regret finding you either, even though you're criminally inclined and emotionally unavailable, and statistically likely to end up in prison or dead. That's quite the endorsement. I'm honest. It's genetic." She closed her notebook. "One more thing." "Yes?" "I think I want to call you Dad, if that's okay." Cassian's world stopped. Restarted. "You don't have to, I know, but I want to. You earned it. Kicking down doors, saving us, choosing us over empire, that's Dad behavior, so, Dad." The word landed like healing, like everything he'd wanted and never thought he deserved. "Yeah, Uni, that's more than okay." She smiled, went back to homework. And Cassian sat beside his daughter watching Port Harrington spread below, like a kingdom he'd built and was learning to leave behind for something better. Not perfect, never perfect, but theirs. Inside, Corinne was washing dishes. Cassian went to help. Stood beside her, shoulder to shoulder, learning domestic life he'd never thought he'd have. "She called me Dad," he said quietly. Corinne's hands stilled. "I heard. Is that okay?" "It's terrifying, but yes." She looked at him. "You're really staying? Really choosing this?" every day for the rest of my life. Even when it's boring, when there's no adrenaline or empire to build. Especially then. She studied his face, looking for lies, finding none. I don't forgive you yet, for leaving, for the 8 years we lost. I know, but I think I will, eventually, if you keep showing up. I will. Prove it. Cassian took her hands. How? Stay. Through the boring parts, through parent-teacher conferences and math homework and arguments about bedtime, through all the normal things that don't feel normal to you. Stay anyway. I can do that. Promise? I promise. No more running, just us. Whatever that means. Her eyes filled. It means family, messy, imperfect, ours. I can live with that. Good, because Uni and I aren't going anywhere, so you're stuck with us. Best prison sentence I ever gotten. She almost smiled. You're still terrible at this. At what? Normal, being a person instead of a king. I'll learn. You better. Uni needs help with her science fair project, and I have no idea how to build a volcano. I can build a volcano, without using actual explosives. I'll figure it out. This time, she did smile, real and warm and hopeful. They finished dishes together. Small domestic task. Unremarkable, ordinary. And to Cassian Vale, man who'd built an empire on violence, it felt like the greatest victory of his life. 6 months later, the science fair volcano exploded spectacularly. Not dangerously, just enthusiastically. Baking soda and vinegar proved volatile when Juniper optimized the chemical ratios. Judges were impressed. Other parents horrified. Cassian proud. Did you help her? A concerned mother asked, eyeing the foam. I provided materials. She provided chaos. That's concerning. She got first place. I'm calling it a win. Juniper collected her blue ribbon with a smile. Satisfied, slightly dangerous, completely unrepentant. Corinne took photos. Cassian stood beside her. A family, imperfect, chaotic, real. Later, they went for ice cream. Juniper got chocolate. Cassian got vanilla. Corinne got both and shared. This is nice, Juniper said. Normal nice, not fighting for our lives nice. Agreed, Corinne said. Let's keep doing normal nice. I'll do my best, Cassian promised. Your best is pretty good when you're not being a crime lord. I'm still technically a crime lord, just very hands-off. Semantics. They walked through Port Harrington's rebuilt waterfront. New shops, clean streets, families instead of danger. The city was changing. So was he. That night, after Juniper went to bed, Cassian and Corinne sat on the balcony. She leaned against him. He wrapped his arm around her. You're still here, she said quietly. Did you doubt? Every day, but every day you proved me wrong. Good, I plan to keep proving you wrong for decades. That's actually kind of sweet. Don't spread it around, ruins my reputation. She laughed. Your reputation's already ruined. You're the reformed crime lord who goes to PTA meetings. Semi-reformed. Semantics. They sat in comfortable silence. Port Harrington sprawled below. Their daughter slept safe inside. The future stretched ahead, uncertain, imperfect, theirs. I love you, Cassian said. First time in 8 years. I should have said it before. Should have never left. Should have been there from the beginning. But you're here now. That's what matters. Is it enough? Ask me in another 8 years. Fair. She kissed him. Soft, tentative, but real. A beginning disguised as continuation. And somewhere in her room, Juniper wrote in her notebook, Day 197 with Cassian. Status, family threat level, manageable conclusion. Sometimes broken things rebuild stronger. Sometimes people choose right after choosing wrong. Sometimes the scary man who kicks down doors becomes the person who helps you build volcanoes. Sometimes wrong numbers are exactly right. The end, but also the beginning. She closed the notebook, turned off the light, went to sleep in an apartment that felt like home, with people who felt like family, safe, loved, whole. If you made it this far, you know this story was about more than survival. It was about choosing family when everything says run, about second chances earned through action, about a little girl brave enough to text the wrong number that turned out to be exactly right. If this story meant something to you, if you believe in second chances and families rebuilt from wreckage, then you already know what comes next. Subscribe. Because stories like this don't end, they echo. And the next time someone kicks down a door to save what matters, you'll want to be there to witness it. Thank you for staying until the end. This family wouldn't exist without you witnessing their story.